There's a narrative this world loves to preach, that a woman's worth is tied to who's beside her, that her value rises or falls based on whether or not a man walks through the door of her life. But let me disrupt that lie today. There are women walking through fire with no hand to hold but God's. There are women paying every bill, raising children, running businesses, battling demons in silence, and they are still standing. Living alone doesn't mean being lonely. Some women have chosen solitude because chaos once masqueraded as love. Some women have walked away from dysfunction that wore a wedding band. Some women aren't waiting to be chosen. They've already been chosen by God, and that's enough. See, you don't need validation from a man to be whole. The wholeness is already in you. You are not a half looking for another half. You are a complete woman, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And yes, there may be moments when your bed feels empty, but your heart is full. There may be moments when no one asks how your day was. Heaven leans in every night to hear your prayers. You have divine companionship. You are never abandoned. You are never forsaken. It takes courage to live alone in a world that equates femininity with dependency, but the truth is, God doesn't call the needy. He equips the willing. And some of you are more equipped in your singleness than others are in their marriages. There is a calling on your life that doesn't wait for a wedding date. There is a ministry in your mouth that doesn't require a ring. There is an anointing on your life that doesn't need a partner to activate. You don't need to shrink to fit into someone else's idea of enough. Your identity is not wrapped in who left, who stayed, or who never showed up. Your identity is rooted in God, and if no man ever comes knocking, the purpose still lives, the oil still flows, the legacy still builds. So walk boldly, woman of God. Dress your table for one, pray over your house. Anoint your own head with oil and keep walking. Your journey is not lesser, it is holy. There is a false idea rooted deep in society that a woman is somehow incomplete if she walks through life without a man by her side. From movies to music, from family gatherings to cultural expectations, the message often rings loud and clear. You're supposed to be with someone. You should want a man. You must be missing something if you're alone. We must stop confusing solitude with deficiency. We must stop defining women by their relationship status as if being chosen by a man somehow adds the final brushstroke to her identity. A woman is not born half. She is not walking around with missing pieces, waiting on someone else to complete the puzzle. No, she was formed in the image of God, whole, equipped, powerful, and called. See, a woman who lives alone and thrives is often misunderstood. People assume she's bitter or hard to love or too independent. But let me speak the truth. She has likely learned the cost of compromising her spirit to make someone else comfortable. She's walked through heartbreak that taught her she'd rather be alone in peace than partnered in confusion. She's not waiting for someone to rescue her. She's not searching for someone to give her a name, a house, a future, or a plan. She's building all of that with her own two hands and trusting God to supply what her strength cannot. And yes, she has lonely nights. Yes, there are days when she wishes someone would come home to her and say, "You don't have to do it all alone." But even in those moments, she doesn't fall apart. She wipes her own tears. She reminds herself of who she is. She turns on worship music instead of texting someone she knows will only pull her backwards. She has learned how to take herself out to dinner and enjoy her own company. She knows how to run errands, fix things around the house, pay her bills, and tuck herself in at night. She's not waiting to live. She's living. There's a quiet confidence in women like her, not loud, not boastful, but solid. You can feel it in the way she carries herself. She doesn't need to explain why she's alone because she knows being alone is not the same as being unworthy. She may not be wearing a wedding ring, but she wears a crown you can't see. A crown of experience, a crown of discernment, a crown of survival, a crown of knowing who she is and what she brings to the table. Let's stop the pity party we throw for women who live alone. Let's stop acting like they're waiting to be rescued from the sadness of their status. Many of them are more joyful, more fulfilled, more purpose driven than people who sleep beside someone every night and still feel empty inside. There is strength in being a woman who can sit with her own thoughts and not be afraid of the silence. There is grace in being a woman who no longer begs for love, but walks in the knowledge that she is already deeply loved by the one who formed her. She doesn't need to explain her journey to anyone. She may have left a relationship that looked perfect on the outside, but was shattering her spirit. She may have walked away from a love that was more addiction than affection. She may have healed from a heartbreak that taught her. Next time, you won't settle for crumbs. She travels, she prays, she grows. She attends weddings without bitterness. She holds other women's babies without envy. She celebrates her friends and relationships because she knows their joy doesn't take anything away from her own. And when she walks into a room, she doesn't carry the shame of her singleness like a scar. She carries it like a badge, a testimony, a declaration that I waited, I healed, I grew. I chose myself when no one else could see my worth. This world often tells women, you need a man to be complete. But the truth is, man should come into a woman's life as a partner, not a patch. As a blessing, not a bandage. She doesn't need someone to fix her. She needs someone who knows how to stand beside her strength without being intimidated. Walk tall, walk bold. Take up space, build your dreams, fill your home with peace. Let your space reflect your spirit. And when you hear the whisper of doubt asking, why are you still alone? Answer back with truth. Solitude can be sacred. Solitude can be a sanctuary, a space not of absence, but of divine presence. It's not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is the ache of being disconnected, but solitude is the strength of being deeply connected to yourself, to God, to purpose. We live in a world that celebrates business, constant companionship, social gatherings, and noisy connections. There's this pressure to always be doing something with someone, to prove that you're not alone, to constantly post and perform for approval. But there's something deeply powerful about a woman who knows how to sit in silence and still feel whole. Many women have confused being alone with being unloved, but in truth, many people have been in rooms full of love and still felt unknown. Many have shared beds but not shared hearts. Many have smiled in pictures but cried behind closed doors. That's why solitude, when embraced, not feared, can become holy ground. In solitude, you remember who you are without the labels, without the job titles, the relationship status, social validation. You come back to your essence. You rediscover your power. Solitude is not about removing yourself from people forever. It's about stepping back long enough to stop being defined by others. It's where your boundaries are rebuilt. Your focus is sharpened. Your emotions are sorted. Your wounds are healed. And your faith is reignited. Some of the most sacred seasons in a woman's life are the ones where it was just her and God. No distractions, no applause, no one watching. Just her, learning how to be still and not be afraid of her own voice anymore. Yes, it's uncomfortable at first. The silence can be deafening when you've always used noise to avoid your truth. The stillness can feel heavy when you're used to constant movement. But don't run from the discomfort. Lean into it. There's gold in the silence. Solitude allows God to speak without interruption. It is in those hidden moments, crying on the kitchen floor, praying in the middle of the night, writing in your journal when no one's around, that you are being shaped. Your identity is being restored. Your spirit is being revived. Do not despise the season of being alone. It is not a punishment. It is preparation. It's not emptiness. It's exposure. Solitude reveals what's been buried. It brings to the surface what you've been avoiding. It uncovers the lies you believed about yourself and replaces them with divine truth. It's in solitude that you learn to be your own friend, your own advocate, your own intercessor. You learn that you don't need a room full of people to feel significant. You just need presence, real, holy, grounding presence. You start to enjoy your own company. You pour your coffee and sit in the sunlight without needing a conversation to validate your morning. You go for walks and hear the wind speaking peace to your soul. You begin to pray, not just to ask for things, but to simply be still known, loved. Solitude makes space for authenticity. You take off the mask. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's comfort. You stop explaining your worth. You just are, and that is enough. Think of the seed. Before it ever becomes a tree, it goes underground alone. Before the butterfly ever flies, must enter a dark cocoon alone. Before greatness emerges, there is always a season of isolation that shapes the soul. Some of the most powerful prayers you will ever pray are the ones you whisper when no one else is around. Some of the most sacred healing will happen in your solitude when you finally face the truth and forgive what hurt you. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will not happen in front of a crowd, but in the quiet of your room where only God can see your tears. This world may never celebrate your solitude. It may always try to push you towards someone, something, or somewhere else. But you don't need to explain your quiet season. You don't need to defend your peace. Your solitude is not a shame. It is a sanctuary. It is not your weakness. It is your womb of strength. It is not your waiting room. It is your holy ground. So light the candles, play the music, clean your space, cook your meals, make your home feel like peace. Not because you're waiting for someone to join you, but because you deserve to dwell in joy right now. For far too long, women have been fed a lie that says you're not truly complete until someone chooses you, that you're not fully whole until you take someone's last name, that your life finally begins at I do. You are not born incomplete. You were not created as a fraction of a person waiting on a partner to fill in the blanks. Before you ever loved a man, before you ever wore a ring, before you ever dreamed of forever with someone else, God saw you as whole, entire, lacking nothing. This world teaches women to wait for completion, to hold their breath until someone arrives and defines them. You're told your value rises when you're married, your purpose finally kicks, and when you're joined to someone else. But that thinking is flawed, fragile, dangerous. Marriage is a blessing. It is sacred. It is a gift from God. But it is not the source of your identity. It is not the foundation of your joy. It is not the only route to fulfillment. God's design for you did not begin with a husband. It began with Him. You were fearfully and wonderfully made in His image, knit together with intention, sealed with purpose. You were created with destiny before you were ever connected to anyone else. You are worthy because He breathed life into you. You are enough because He calls you by name. You are powerful because His Spirit lives inside of you. There are women who have never been married, and they are full of wisdom, strength, joy, and peace. There are women who were married and chose to leave pain behind, and they are walking in divine purpose. There are widows who still radiate love and light because their wholeness was never defined by who stood beside them, but by who stood within them. Let's talk real. Some women got married thinking it would heal their brokenness. They believed a man would rescue them from insecurity, abandonment, fear, or low self-esteem. All that happened was magnification, because marriage doesn't heal what only God can. It's a mirror, not a bandage. That's why healing must happen before the vow. That's why self-love must grow before partnership. That's why wholeness must be rooted in God so no human can shake it. God never told you to wait on a relationship to step into your destiny. He never said, once you're married, then you're ready to serve. No, God calls you to be faithful where you are. He anoints you in your singleness. He assigns you purpose now. Don't wait until someone loves you to start loving yourself. Don't hold off on traveling, building, dreaming, growing until you're partnered. Live your life now. Walk in confidence now. Speak boldly now. So stop measuring your success by whether someone has chosen you romantically. You have already been chosen eternally. God chose you when He formed you. God called you when He filled you. God sees you, loves you, knows you. And that is more profound than any human connection. There's a deep joy in knowing your value is not negotiable. There's a quiet strength in walking through life alone, but never empty. There's a divine confidence that grows when you understand, I am whole because I am His. So build your life, dream big, serve others. Take care of your body, nourish your soul, cultivate your gifts, start that business, write that book, pray with fire, praise without shame. One of the most damaging misconceptions ever handed to women is the idea that their real life starts after marriage. That purpose sits on a shelf somewhere, collecting dust, waiting for a wedding date to be marked on the calendar before it can begin. That somehow, without a partner, Their assignment is on pause. Let me boldly and lovingly tell you the truth today. Purpose does not wait for a partner. Destiny is not delayed because of your relationship status. Your calling is not postponed until you become someone's missus. Purpose is activated by obedience, not attachment. There are women right now, gifted, anointed, full of vision, holding back on their dreams because they've bought into a cultural lie that they need someone by their side before they can truly begin. They believe the home, business, the ministry, the healing, the dream, the movement, it all needs a man to legitimize it. But look through scripture. Look through history. Look through your own life. Some of the most powerful moves of God didn't start in the presence of a spouse. They started in the presence of God. Called Esther before she had a crown. God spoke to Mary when she was still unmarried. God gave Deborah authority in a time when women weren't even recognized in leadership. God gave purpose before people ever gave applause. Man may compliment your calling, but he is not the source of it. A marriage may enhance your journey, but it is not the key to your beginning. The moment God breathed life into you, purpose was ignited. That breath was not small, it was sacred. It came with assignments, gifts, wisdom, and vision that cannot be canceled or delayed by your marital status. Purpose teaches you how to walk in obedience before you walk in partnership. Purpose strengthens your faith, your discipline, and your voice. It teaches you to recognize your own strength, not so you can be self-reliant, so you can be spirit-led. Partnership can be powerful. A good man can bring support, strength, encouragement, and alignment. But if you think he is the prerequisite to your purpose, you'll make him your God instead of your guide. No man was ever meant to carry the weight of your destiny. Some of you are hiding your fire. You're dumbing down your voice. You're postponing your goals. You're shrinking to make space for a relationship that hasn't even arrived yet. You've got the keys to a kingdom God gave you. You're still standing at the door waiting for someone to walk in with you. When God already said, go. When heaven already opened the door. When the calling already came. When the gifts already started stirring. Purpose will not wait for you to feel ready. It won't wait until you're partnered. It won't wait until life is picture perfect. Purpose is calling you to move now, scared, single, unsure, but willing. Do you know what happens when you step into purpose before partnership? You become a woman of substance. You build something real. You grow into a woman who knows her value, who can't be manipulated by attention or destroyed by rejection. You know who you are outside of someone else's affection. You know what you're called to, whether someone joins you or not. And guess what? The right man, if he's part of your journey, will see that and honor it. He won't be intimidated by your purpose. He'll recognize it, support it, maybe even be inspired by it. Too many women are living in pause mode, waiting to be pursued before they pursue their destiny, waiting for a proposal before they propose that business plan, waiting for someone to lead them before they allow God to lead them. But God is not calling you to wait and wilt. He's calling you to move and bloom. Don't dim your light hoping someone will find you easier to approach. The right person will see your light and want to protect it, not put it out. And if no one ever comes along, you will still be found faithful. You will still leave a legacy. You will still live a life that pleased God and fulfilled what He placed inside of you. It doesn't wait for a hand to hold. Doesn't wait for approval from others. It waits for a yes from your soul. So let your yes be loud. Let it be full of power. Let it echo through every fear and doubt. Let it rise above every cultural pressure and expectation. Let it lead you, not into waiting rooms, into divine assignments. We live in a world that glorifies hustle, celebrates constant motion, and praises those who never sit still. You're told to grind harder, move faster, and do more. But there's a kind of strength the world doesn't talk about. A strength not found in noise or movement, but in silence, in surrender, in stillness. Real strength is not always loud. It doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it looks like stillness, and sometimes it looks like obedience in the quiet seasons where nobody's watching. There are moments in every woman's life where the temptation is to fix it, force it, figure it out. When things get uncomfortable, we scramble for solutions. When people walk away, we run after them. When doors close, we try to kick them back open because we think movement equals control. We think doing something, anything, means we're strong. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is not passivity. Stillness is spiritual confidence. It's standing in the middle of uncertainty and choosing not to be shaken. It's knowing that God is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see a single sign. There's a reason Scripture says, "Be still and know that I am God," because stillness invites knowing. When you stop moving, you start listening. When you stop striving, you start discerning. When you stop doing, you start receiving. And obedience. Obedience is where strength is built in the dark. When God tells you to stay put and you want to run, but you stay. When he says wait and everything in you wants to rush, but you wait. When he says forgive and your pride says no, but you forgive. That's strength. Some of the strongest women are not the ones shouting from platforms. They are the ones obeying God when no one understands them. They are the ones saying no to relationships that look good but aren't God. They are the ones walking away from places that feel safe but aren't aligned. They are the ones trusting God's timing when it feels like nothing is happening. Let's be honest, stillness is uncomfortable. It makes us confront ourselves, exposes our impatience, our need for control, our fear of the unknown. But that discomfort is sacred. It's the fire that purifies, the mirror that reveals, the test that transforms. Stillness is where identity is forged. You learn who you are when you're not being busy, not being praised, not being needed, just being. And that being is where God speaks. That being is where healing happens. Being is where you finally hear him say, "You are enough." When you're still, God can position you. When you're obedient, God can promote you. If you're too busy trying to manufacture your own miracle, you'll miss what he's trying to do with your surrender. Some of you have been taught that strong women always fight, always speak, always move. But there's another side to strength that's often overlooked. The strength to rest, the strength to hold your peace, the strength to wait for the right time, the strength to walk away without burning everything down, the strength to obey God even when it doesn't make sense. It takes strength to stop striving. It takes strength to stay silent when you want to defend yourself. It takes strength to release what you thought you needed. It takes strength to follow God in the dark. You may not see it instantly. You may not feel it emotionally, but something breaks in the spirit when a woman chooses to obey God over her emotions. Something shifts when she decides that waiting on him is worth more than rushing toward man-made promises. Because the enemy knows that when a woman learns to move in sync with God, not culture, not timelines, not pressure, she becomes unstoppable. When she no longer reacts but responds. When she no longer panics but prays. When she no longer needs to prove herself, simply walks with quiet confidence. That's real power. So if you're in a season where nothing seems to be moving, where doors are closed, where prayers feel delayed, don't mistake stillness for stagnation. God does his best work in the quiet. There comes a time in every woman's life when the silence gets loud, when the bed feels too wide, when the phone doesn't ring, when the ache for companionship pulses through her soul in quiet, persistent waves. The world around her seems to move in pairs, people holding hands, posting pictures, building homes, and she wonders, what about me? God is not a distant deity sitting in the heavens, disconnected from your need for love and intimacy. He is not oblivious to your desire for connection. He is not ignoring your tears, your longing, your ache for presence. In fact, he is closer than your breath. He is near in ways no human can ever be. He doesn't visit. You are his dwelling place. There is a holy intimacy available to you, not just on Sundays, not just during prayer, but every moment of every day. You are not walking this journey alone. You are not sleeping in an empty house. You are surrounded by glory. You are not eating dinner in silence. There's a king who sits with you. There is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Yes, we were created for relationship. Yes, love is a gift. Yes, having someone by your side is a beautiful thing. But God never designed your emotional well-being to hang on whether or not a human shows up. Because humans are limited, flawed, fickle. They come and go, but God is constant. His companionship doesn't expire. His attention doesn't drift. His love doesn't depend on your performance. He's not here today and gone tomorrow. He doesn't fall out of love with you. He doesn't ghost you when you're vulnerable. He doesn't withhold affection when you're struggling. He sits in the silence. He meets you in the mess. He celebrates you when no one else claps. He listens when your heart says things your mouth can't form into words. Here's the hard truth. Many women miss it, not because God isn't present, but because we've been taught to chase the visible and ignore the invisible. We've been conditioned to believe that the love we can hold in our hands is more real than the love we hold in our spirit. The love of God is not a substitute for human connection. It is the source of it. When you understand that God is with you, really with you, your entire posture changes. You stop waiting to be chosen because you already know you were chosen before the foundation of the world. You stop begging for someone to love you because you already know you are the beloved of the Most High. Because when God becomes your closest companion, you walk differently, you speak with more authority, you stop settling, you stop compromising, you stop twisting yourself into shapes just to be good enough for someone to stay. It's not just spiritual, it's practical. God will sit with you in the car when you cry and can't explain why. He'll walk through the grocery store with you. He'll whisper to you when anxiety hits. He'll nudge you gently when you're about to settle for less. He'll strengthen you when the nights are long and you feel unseen by the world. Some of you have never experienced that kind of companionship with God. Not because it's not available, because you've been trying to get from people what only God can give. You keep placing divine needs on human shoulders and it's exhausting you. You want someone to affirm you. God calls you beloved. You want someone to protect you. God surrounds you with angels. You want someone to hear you. God listens before you even speak. You want someone to never leave you. God made a covenant sealed in His blood that He would never forsake you. You can walk with Him in the morning. You can talk to Him while folding laundry. You can hear His Spirit while journaling, while driving, while worshiping, breathing. You don't need a stage. You don't need a ceremony. You just need a yes, a heart that says, God, tired of doing this alone. Be with me in a way I can feel. You begin to enjoy your own company. You begin to love the quiet. You begin to create, to laugh, to rest, to dream. Not because someone else is watching, but because God is delighting in you. Challenge you to love enough and care enough you realize isn't withholding good things from you. He's protecting the garden of your heart so that the right love will find you in the right season. In the meantime, He will never leave you empty. He will be your source, your voice of wisdom, your morning joy, and your midnight peace. He is not just the God of miracles. He is the God of moments. And every moment you walk through, especially the quiet ones, is drenched in His presence. Stop dismissing your current season as empty, when the fullness of God is available to you right now. Divine companionship is not for the elite. It's not for the perfect. It's for the willing, the broken. The brave women who say, Lord, teach me to be loved by you. You are never unseen. You are never unloved. You are never alone. He walks with you. He waits with you. He waits with you. He rejoices over you, because the greatest companionship you will ever experience is not with someone who texts you good night. It's with the God who never sleeps, never slumbers, never lets you go.